Yeah, they're good like that.
Okay, so it's a beautiful spring day. We're doing our first hive inspections for the year. When you do your first hive inspections, you're looking for a few things. Number one is you want to check out the condition of the hive, see how healthy they are. You want to find the queen if you can, and right there's this one. She's a pretty good looking queen. So with your first spring inspection, if it's warm enough, you want to look at how healthy they are first of all. You want to see if there's any sign of disease from over the winter, nosema, mites, anything like that. Look for hive beetles, because in the south they're a little bit more of a problem, not in Michigan so much. You can see this is some fresh pollen up here. This is some nice bright pollen that they've been bringing in. You want to check their honey stores and their pollen stores from over the winter and see if they're bringing any new stuff. You got to get them prepared to take off in the spring so that they can get the most honey out of the year. And if they're bringing in honey or nectar and pollen, then that allows them to explode in their population. So this is a frame of brood, which is here, and with the queen, she's laying eggs. You can't really see them with probably the video, but there's some eggs down in the bottom. And the other thing to look for is drones. If you're interested in queen rearing or anything like that, you got to make sure that you have either drones available, or if they're capped and purple-eyed at the purple-eyed stage, then you're able to start grafting for queens. You can't really start making queens unless you have purple-eyed drones, because that
raised cells around the edge here.
Yeah.
Are the drones.
These are the drones, and actually this hive has quite a few. Not this frame as much, but here's a drone right here. You can see they're bigger with the bigger eyes. It's right there.
Round butt.
Yep, round fuzzy butt with big eyes. There's another frame I picked out that had quite a few drones in it, but like Jody said, this bullet shaped cells here, those are drone cells. So you need to have drones in order to start raising queens.
And that's a sign of a healthy hive, as long as you have an ample amount of workers. If you
Right.
open it up and there's
It's all drones, or mostly drone cells.
then you're going to have some trouble.
As you can see, we've got a queen. She's laying eggs. This is all worker brood in here, so this hive looks good. Now the next few things I'm going to do is just go through the rest of the hive, make sure. But I've got the queen. They've got popular good worker brood, quite a bit of drone brood. The next thing I'm going to do is then clear off the bottom board and reverse the hive. That allows the queen to move up into the top chamber, which this hive had 3 boxes on it. It was a little bit light for honey, and you got to be careful, since you know where the queen is. You got to really protect that frame so that you don't squish her. But this hive was a little bit light for honey at the beginning of the year, and I fed them some. I put a box on top that had more honey in it, so that they had enough to make it through. And I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but there's some really young brood right in there. You can see it's really like a jelly in the bottom, a white creaming, and there's a little larva in there. That's what you want to see this time of year. This hive is actually ready to explode with population. It's got quite a few frames of worker brood that's capped already, and a lot of younger brood. So the next couple weeks, this hive is really just going to take off. It's going to explode in population and be able to make a lot of honey then. The only other thing you got to be careful of then is swarming. Once they do expand in population a lot in the spring, they are going to want to swarm, which means the old queen will take off with approximately half the bees, and they'll leave behind a queen cell, so that the new queen will hatch, and now one hive becomes 2. is great for beekeepers.
Unless they leave. That might be great for your neighbors.
So this frame's a little spotty, but you kind of expect that a little bit more in the spring. Queen's just getting going. She's not laying eggs in every cell yet. Temperatures are still really fluctuating, so they're not going to raise a whole lot of brood all at once early spring. It's been warm enough now though that they're getting pretty consistent. Then you're looking at the condition of the bees too. If you start seeing a lot of deformities in their wings and you know they've got mite problems,
That's something.
that is just a newly hatched bee right there. See, it's really fuzzy. When they're first born, they're really fuzzy. Like if you look around the eyes.
Why are their wings out?
She's just flapping around. Those don't look too bad. Oh, here's a hornet that they're taking care of. Bees do not like intruders, so
Just let them kill it.
so they're balling it. That's called balling. What they'll do is they'll take any intruder.
I can't see if I have it on the screen or not. So
Even if you put a new queen in a hive that it hasn't gotten used to, that's protected, they'll kill her too. They don't want to have them. So bees have a barbed stinger. They can sting other insects without damaging their stinger, but in human flesh that barb sticks in your skin and will rip out. So they can repeatedly sting wasps or other bees, but once they sting you, they lose their stinger and they die. Hornets, yellow jackets, not the same. They have a smooth stinger. That's why one wasp or hornet will feel like 10, because they can sting you repeatedly. But it looks like they've pretty much taken care of this one.
Good girls.
Now, anytime you open up the hive, you've got yellow jackets and hornets, things like that, that will eat honey too, and they'll smell it and they'll come
They're
after
very
it.
opportunistic.
Yeah. Here's a little bee being hatched right now. He's popping out of their cell. You can see if he's...
It's really hard for me to tell what I'm taping on here because
right here's he's chewing away. This is just like a cocoon almost. Once it hits a certain age, it'll spin a cocoon in the cell and stay in there until it's fully developed, and it'll chew a hole through that
holy
cocoon.
smokes, that's a really big one.
Yeah.
That's not
I think that's a hornet.
is that just a regular hornet?
Yeah.
Can you chop it in half?
I can kill it for him.
Don't let it fly away, just chop it in half.
Well, we'll get it over to the wood first. Otherwise,
You didn't.
I got it. Got the back end off of me.
Where'd it go?
It's right down here.